Welcome to the Coach's Road, where basketball coaches travel, with College Recruiting Coordinator, Coach Don Burrows.
Hi, Coach Burrows with you, and we're traveling the Coach's Basketball Road to the year 1946. The Commodore Hotel, New York City. We are going to sit in on the founding meeting of the Basketball Association of America. You ask, why are we attending a BAA meeting? I hate meetings, and this BAA in 1946 is obscure at best. I mean, it has not even played a game yet. How can this be a turning point when the many other pro leagues that tried it in the 19th and 20th century had an average lifespan of 3 years? Good questions all. This is the origin meeting that eventually led to the creation of not just a basketball league, but a powerful entertainment empire, the NBA. There are 19 businessmen crowding into this June 6th meeting. Their goal? To corner the professional basketball market, execute a calculated, long-term hostile takeover of pro ball while the leagues are still locked in a Wild West scramble to claim it. First, a brief breakdown of the 19. These three, basketball men, present because they are obsessed by the game. As Matt Damon's character says in the movie Ford versus Ferrari, if the person can't be around it, basketball in this case, it will drive them clean out of their mind. That's Gottlieb, Ehlinger, and Pieri, basketball lifers. The 12 men on this list, the majority at the conference table, viewed basketball mainly as a tenant, a renter of their space, and an active tenant for arenas, not just once a year for 3 days like the circus, but at least 30 times through the winter or more if they make the playoffs, producing a steady income while creating an ardent fan base, that is, repeat customers loyal to the brand, their team. Harold Shannon and Harry Bolton are at the meeting as owners of the Toronto Huskies and Maple Leaf Garden. Toronto is the second largest city in Canada and will host the first BAA/NBA game November 1st, 1946, thus making the league international. And another interesting person, Michael Uihlein, owner of the Washington, D.C. Capitals and Uihlein Arena where they'll play, he takes some heat because he hires this unknown coach named Red Auerbach. Turns out to be a pretty good hire. There's also a man of the media there, Max Case. He's the sports editor for the New York Journal-American. It's an astute move to be sure that a newspaper man is in the room, not to report on this meeting, but if the papers didn't care, the league will not exist. Of course, there's no social media back then, but just 1% of America had a television in their home in 1946. Newspapers, the sports pages, dominate the information along with radio. Who made sure Case was there? Power brokers, the men who will ultimately shape the outcome of professional basketball. They are Ned Irish, Madison Square Garden executive, master promoter. His involvement instantly legitimized the league with investors. He had already proven basketball could draw big crowds in New York, his college doubleheaders at Madison Square Garden, drawing over 16,000 fans per event. He's assembled the New York Knicks to be a charter member of the BAA because it's the number one market, the number one arena. He's the number one basketball promoter in America. Walter Brown is the owner of the Boston Celtics, who will play in the Boston Garden, which he also owns and is one of the largest arenas in the USA. He's the definition of a power broker. He can shape an outcome with his connections, and he's the driving force in this Commodore Hotel meeting. Maurice Podoloff, presiding over the meeting, although he's currently employed as the American Hockey League president, but here he is running a basketball meeting because it's about venues, schedules, market size. It seems obvious to locate franchises in big cities, but up until 1946, the pro leagues had a sprinkling of the big metropolitan areas, but revolved around smaller cities. Toledo, Akron, Fort Wayne, South Bend, Sheboygan, Rochester, with team names like Jim White Chevrolet, Firestone Non-Skids, Goodyear Wingfoots, the Studebaker Flyers. Sounded more like an intramural league of the day with sponsors on a t-shirt. Here's the BAA franchises that started with our Commodore meet. The only major city not in the league is Los Angeles, which is because it was a 4 to 7 day train trip one way. It's just not feasible for the schedule. And here's item number 7 on the agenda. Adopted the recommendation that teams should be named for cities rather than industrial establishments. So who really ruled this group? Not an individual. It was an entity. The Arena Managers Association, the AMA. 13 of the 19 men in this room are either prominent members or work directly for members of the AMA. What about Podoloff? He seems to be the top man. He's going to be the president. He's running this meeting. No, he's a framework man. Using his hockey experience, he created the critical infrastructure that other pro basketball leagues had lacked. He's an intelligent man, a lawyer out of Yale. His title does get the most publicity, but it's Irish of Madison Square Garden, Brown of the Celtics, and the AMA who combined to hire, some say install, Podoloff as president because he was not a basketball man. He was an arena manager's man. Where the league that had been around longer, the National Basketball League, had a 30-game schedule, Podoloff doubles it, creating a 60-game BAA regular season mandatory schedule with playoffs. 30 games at home, 30 on the road, but every game will be hosted at the facility of an AMA member. Podoloff himself said he really didn't understand basketball rules or strategy when he began. He knew he had been hired to do it the arena manager's way, as he said, to make sure the trains ran on time. Irish, Brown, and the AMA, they appear to be the godfathers of this new BAA league, engineering the end of the NBL, putting them out of business, assuming total control of professional basketball, and in 1949, the name change, a future global power, the NBA. And it's time to leave the meeting. We're heading back to 2026 here on the Coach's Road, where basketball coaches travel along with passionate hoop enthusiasts. Please subscribe. Coach Burrows, over and out.